Mm, mm. Oh my goodness. Wow. Mm. What in the world? I'm going. Excuse me. Now you might be asking me the question, why are you eating an ice cream cone when you're supposed to be given a devotional? Well, there's a reason for this. So let me make that clear. And the reason is this. I want to talk about prayer today. And prayer is what we call a spiritual discipline. I've been a Christian for over 50 years, and prayer is still a discipline for me. I long for the day when it's a passion. If you set a waffle cone with salted caramel and just chocolate ice cream in it side by side, and you say, Dave, I want you to eat this. I don't have to discipline myself for that. I may have to discipline myself to not eat it, but I don't have to discipline myself. I'm all over it. I'm passionate about that. And you might be the same way, where you have things in your life that you know are easily passions for you and other things that are disciplines, and maybe prayer is one of those. And so I want us to look at Luke 11 today. Verses 1 through 13, there's a lot there, and I want to zero in on one major point. What Jesus says is in response to the disciples asking a very simple question or making a request. Lord, teach us to pray. And Jesus tells them what to pray, our Father who art in heaven, and that would be powerful for us to stop right now and look at each one of those ingredients. Instead, I want to look at what he gives a lesson also about how to pray. And he gives two stories in there, and really right in the middle is what causes, I think, a lot of problems for people. When we look at Luke chapter 11, verses 9 and 10, and I say to you, ask and it shall be given to you, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it shall be opened. I mean, those are powerful words. And as soon as we see those words or hear those words, if you're like me, you immediately have that thought, well, I prayed this prayer and God never answered it, or God answered it in a completely different opposite way. I prayed for that person to get well, they died. I prayed for that job, someone else got it. I asked for that promotion, someone else got it. Whatever it might be, we all have times that where a life experience goes against what these verses are trying to teach us. I want us to keep the big picture in mind. I want to keep this as simple as I possibly can. What Jesus is saying is that's the kind of Father you have. That when you ask, he gives. When you seek, you find. When you knock, it's opened up to you. That is who God is. And he wraps those verses around with two stories. The first one is with the persistence that we are to bring to prayer. Don't give up. And maybe some of you have given up on certain prayers. You prayed them for a long time and you gave up on them. Don't give up on them. Jesus tells this story about going to your neighbor. I'm in bed. Go find bread somewhere else. The door's shut. And Jesus says, by persistence, not because you're his friend, but by your persistence, he will respond. Jesus is encouraging us to be persistent in our prayers. And then he gives these verses 9 and 10. And then on the other side of that, he gives us another story. And it's about being a father. When your child asks for this, you don't give them this. If they ask for a piece of bread, you don't give them a stone. If they ask for a fish, you don't give them a scorpion, do you? And if you, being evil fathers, know how to do good, how much more your heavenly Father? Again, Jesus is saying, this is who God is. This is the God we are praying to. Be persistent. Realize that he gives good gifts. We just looked at that in James. Realize those good gifts come from above. And you realize he's the kind of God, when you ask, he will give. When you seek, you will find. When you knock, the door will be open. So keep on asking, realizing your Father will give you good things. Now let's get back to the ice cream. Let's just face it. God is a heavenly Father, and we are his children. And if you're a parent, you know what it's like to have your kid by the ice cream store. I want some ice cream. Give me some ice cream. And you say, why, sweetie? Because I'm hungry. We all know if the child's hungry, they don't need sugar. They don't need a heavy dose of things that aren't good for you. They need nutrients. And so when the kid asks, when the kid seeks, when the kid knocks, mom and dad are not going to comply with that request. They're going to do what's best for the child. So as we persist and as we believe that God has our best interests in mind, we also need to realize we're children. And so many things that we are asking for are above our pay grade. But don't lose sight of the fact that when you ask, he does give. When you seek, you do find. When you knock, the door will be open. That's who God is. Keep asking and continue to realize he gives good gifts to those who seek him. May God bless your day. I hope this has been helpful for you. Appreciate you all.